Two people can have the same job, same experience, same salary, but one of them is about to become 10 times more valuable, and the other won't even understand why. Here's a satisfying hat trick that nobody's talking about. A Harvard and BCG study tested 758 consultants on real-world tasks. The ones who used AI finished 25% faster, produced 40% higher quality work, and outperformed their peers on every single metric. Same job title, same company, same salary, completely different output. And this isn't just about consultants. This is happening everywhere. An invisible line is being drawn right now across every industry, every company, and every career path. On one side, people are quietly doubling their output. On the other side, people are working just as hard as they always have and slowly falling behind. This is the AI productivity gap, and it is the most important career trend of this decade. Let's break down why it's happening, who's actually winning, and what you need to do about it before it's too late. The gap is real and it's growing fast. So first, let's talk about the numbers because they're actually wild. Stanford and MIT researchers studied over 5,000 customer support agents at a Fortune 500 company. When they gave workers access to an AI assistant, productivity jumped by 14% on average. But here's the fascinating part. The least experienced workers saw a 34% boost. The AI essentially leveled them up to match senior employees in a matter of weeks. GitHub ran a similar experiment with software developers using their Copilot tool. Developers completed tasks 55% faster. Not 5%, not 15%, 55% faster. And a Nielsen Norman Group study found that business professionals using AI for writing and analysis tasks improved their productivity by 66%. Now pause and think about what this means at scale. If two employees sit in the same office doing the same job, but one is using AI strategically and the other isn't, the gap in their output isn't small, it's enormous. Over a year, that compounds into a completely different career trajectory. Microsoft's 2024 Work Trend Index surveyed 31,000 people across 31 countries. They found that 75% of knowledge workers are already using AI at work. But here's the catch. Most of them are doing it on their own without any guidance, training, or strategy. They're dabbling. They're not mastering. And that's where the real gap lives. It's not between people who use AI and people who don't. It's between people who use AI well and everyone else. Why most people are using AI wrong? Let me be blunt here. Most people treat AI like a slightly smarter Google search. They type in a vague question, get a mediocre answer, and then walk away thinking, yeah, AI is overhyped. That's like test driving a Ferrari in a parking lot and saying it's slow. The people who are actually winning with AI right now are doing something fundamentally different. They're treating AI as a thinking partner, not a search engine. They're building workflows, creating custom prompts, chaining outputs together, and integrating AI into every stage of their process. Here's a specific example. An average user might ask ChatGPT, "Write me an email to a client," and they get a generic, bland paragraph that sounds like it was written by a robot. A skilled AI user will say, "Here is context about my client. Here's our last 3 interactions. Here's the tone I want. Here's the specific outcome I need from this email. And here are 2 examples of emails I've written before that worked well." That person gets an output that's 90% ready to send. They just saved 20 minutes. Do that 10 times a day and you just bought back 3 hours. McKinsey estimates that AI could automate up to 30% of hours currently worked across the US economy by 2030. But automation doesn't mean elimination. It means the people who learn to work alongside AI will absorb the productivity gains. The people who don't will find their roles slowly shrinking. This is not a future prediction. This is happening right now, today, in real companies making real hiring and firing decisions. The 3 types of AI users. From everything I've researched and observed, people are falling into 3 distinct categories right now. The first group is the ignorers. These are people who either dismiss AI entirely or acknowledge it exists but refuse to engage. They say things like, "It's just a fad," or "My job requires human creativity. AI can't do what I do." According to Pew Research, about 36% of American workers say they are more concerned than excited about AI in the workplace. A lot of these people are going to be blindsided, not because AI will directly replace them, but because someone who does their job plus uses AI will simply outproduce them. The second group is the dabblers. This is the biggest group. These are the people who use ChatGPT occasionally, maybe to draft an email or summarize a document, but they haven't built any systems around it. They haven't gone deep. Salesforce found that while 61% of workers believe generative AI will help them be more productive, only about 1 in 4 have actually received any formal training on how to use it. The dabblers are getting marginal benefits, 5% here, 10% there. They're improving, but not at the rate of the third group. The third group is the architects. These are the people who have restructured their entire workflow around AI. They use it for research, ideation, drafting, editing, analysis, coding, design, communication, and decision-making. They've built prompt libraries, they know which tool to use for which task, they understand the limitations, and they've designed systems that work around them. These are the people seeing the 40%, 55%, 66% productivity gains we talked about earlier. And they are pulling away from everyone else at an accelerating rate. The question you have to ask yourself, honestly, is which group are you in right now? What the winners do differently? After studying hundreds of high performers who've integrated AI into their work, I've noticed 5 patterns. 1, they invest time up front. They spend hours learning a tool deeply instead of minutes skimming the surface. That upfront investment pays dividends for months. 2, they focus on workflows, not one-off tasks. They don't just ask AI a question, they build repeatable systems. A content creator, for example, might build a pipeline where AI helps with research, then outlining, then first drafts, then editing, then repurposing into multiple formats. 3, they provide context, lots of it. The quality of AI output is directly proportional to the quality of input. The best users feed AI their writing samples, brand guidelines, audience data, and project history. 4, they iterate. They don't accept the first output. They refine, redirect, and push the AI to go deeper. This is a skill itself, and it separates amateurs from professionals. 5, they stay current. The AI landscape is changing literally every week. New tools, new features, new capabilities. The winners allocate time each week to stay updated. They read, they experiment, they adapt. PwC projects that AI could contribute up to $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. That value isn't going to be distributed evenly. It's going to flow disproportionately to the people and organizations who figured this out early. Here's the reality. The AI productivity gap is not closing. It's widening every single day. And the longer you wait to get serious about this, the harder it becomes to catch up. You don't need to become an AI engineer. You don't need to learn to code. But you do need to become an architect. You need to move beyond dabbling and start building real systems that multiply your output. If you're not using AI like this yet, you're already behind. And that gap is only getting worse. I'll see you in the next one.